Wouldn't call it a pimp shirt.
I mean,
well, it is a pimp's
tan,
car on your shirt for sure.
With cars.
I just want to say,
yeah.
Hi, Ken.
Hey, I am Kenano.
Hello, and thank you very much for downloading this most recent episode of Movie Guys Podcast. You can download many more episodes at movieguyspodcast.podbean.com.
Behind the scenes here, Eric and I talked about this movie, Godzilla 98, a little bit today before we recorded, and I'm telling you, this could be an interesting episode because him and I are opposite ends here. Eric, Godzilla 98, how the hell are you doing?
This movie sucks, Jordan. I'm happy to talk about it. I don't mean to come so hot, actually. I do remember it fondly. The marketing was a monster in itself that attacked all of us globally. So I'm excited to talk about everything Godzilla from 1998, and I know Sarah is too, who's joining us for the nostalgia extravaganza.
The last
movie, yeah. So a little more behind the scenes. Eric and I moved this weekend, and so we didn't have a lot of time to watch the movie, and so we started it last night. I, of course, proceeded to fall asleep. Except that Eric also just turned it off because he was so angry watching this movie, and we finished it just like an hour and a half ago. We finished watching it, and it was another movie where every few minutes it was just like hand on the head, arms crossed. Watching this movie was more entertaining than the actual movie.
Yes, I have seen that a lot when it comes to people watching movies like this. I feel like that was you with Last Action Hero earlier this year, Sarah.
Maybe. It was definitely Eric with 50 Shades of Grey last year.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
That was an every half hour he got up and paced. So.
I'm sure. Had to walk that one off.
Yeah.
No, okay about this. I will make it clear. This movie is not good at all, right? But I've watched the movie twice for this review, but kinda. I watched it, and then the second time I kind of skimmed it to be like, okay, is this really that bad? Like, what is so bad about it? So I compared this to the original Gojira, and besides it being New York and it looks like an iguana and some characters, it's basically the same thing. So why is this considered so bad? I think it's more of a cult classic now. Would you say, Eric?
Oh, absolutely.
It's
especially with the merchandise that's available for this. They made Doritos.
Yeah, they did. Taco Bell was everywhere. Here, Lizard. I mean, come on. So I did not know this, but there was a cartoon, Godzilla the series.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That was on Fox Kids, if that brings a bell. I never watched it. The whole season's on YouTube for free, on just YouTube. Do you guys want to hear the plot of the first episode of the cartoon?
Absolutely, we do. Yes.
Have you guys seen the cartoon?
Yes, I've seen it as a kid. I don't remember a thing of it because I think I was probably watching something else. You know it exists, but you don't watch it, kind of that thing.
Okay. So question about the cartoon. I remember watching Godzilla when he had Godzuki, who's like the little tiny version of Godzilla.
Yeah, that's like.
Is this the same cartoon? Oh,
no.
Really?
Yeah, that was like the 60s, 70s. Yeah, that was straight Japan.
Oh, but it was a cartoon.
Yes.
Okay, I remember watching that when I was a kid.
Yeah, and Godzuki.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like 60s, 70s. That's nothing. This so this cartoon is a direct sequel of this movie of 1998 Godzilla. The cartoon starts with Godzilla chasing everybody in a taxi and getting caught on the bridge and getting blown to bits. Like the cartoon opens with that. And then of course Madison Square Garden bloating up. So like the last 15 minutes of the movie has been condensed to 2 minutes of a cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay. So the movie ends. Now we're following Nick Tatopoulos. The blonde is completely gone.
Thank goodness, yes.
Animal, the camera guy, he's gone. It's just Nick, and him and the Marines go back to Madison Square Garden to make sure that every egg is destroyed. One egg is left. It hatches. It imprints on Nick Tatopoulos. So now he is Nick's pet.
Yes.
This is the cartoon. So
Mm.
Nick, of course, is scared because he was just 5 minutes ago being chased by hundreds of these little mini, dinosaurs, if you will. So, but he's figured out that it thinks that he's his mama and all this thing. Anyway, that's the first episode. Every single episode after that is Godzilla is now cool. Every human likes Godzilla. And every time that there's a monster in some foreign land, Nick Tatopoulos sends Godzilla to go fight the monsters.
Of course.
Beautiful.
That's the cartoon.
So this was a part of the original plan for the trilogy, supposedly?
Yes, allegedly.
Allegedly. The studio had this in mind to make 3 movies. I wonder if Matthew Broderick would have signed on for this. Can you imagine a Spider-Man-like franchise with Matthew Broderick leading the I guess the entire vehicle of Godzilla? That would be insane. It has to exist in some other reality, right?
It has to be. Okay, so I don't want to go into scene by scene, right? We never really do that with the nostalgia extravaganzas. But I do want to talk a little bit more history, if you guys don't mind, where it's like 1998, I'm 11 years old. The poster is huge in the movie theater. All it is the foot. And it says size does matter. That was the whole thing, was what does he look like? They were trying to hide what the monster looked like. I would argue, because I've seen other Godzilla movies, I never seen the original Gojira, the original Godzilla film, until I got to college. But I've seen other Godzilla films, but I was excited for this. Were you guys at all excited for this coming out in 98?
Oh,
Was the
geez.
hype train good, like as good for you as it was for me? Were you excited, pulling on your dad's arm? Dad, 2 weeks. Dad, 1 week. Dad, it's here.
Absolutely
Like,
not.
no,
So
nobody's excited.
I was 14 at this time, and I think in that part, maybe interests were I've seen a lot of movies at that point, so I had a pretty good idea of what movies I liked and what movies I didn't. And you can kind of smell this one a little bit away, especially with the marketing that went around it. You can just kind of like go, okay, well, I'll bet you any money this is, just going to be kind of a silly movie, and it sure was. But listen, back then, because what else was coming out in '98?
This was a big year. Like, there were 2 soundtracks that I wish I still had that I got for Christmas. It was Godzilla the album and City of Angels.
Yeah, like, so
those soundtracks were huge.
this was the time of the soundtrack too, because remember like Chef Aid, like
Yeah, Chef Aid was huge. P. Diddy, come with me. Come on.
yeah, this was
song was
a
everywhere.
This was every movie had to have a song that went along with it. Hell, even Bulworth had a song. Ghetto Superstar.
Superstar.
Yeah.
That
That
is
is what you are.
Yeah.
Maya, she had a hit. Yeah, so I mean, this was big, right? So Sarah, I was on the hype train. Eric was not. Sarah, did this appeal to young Sarah?
It did not. Once you said it, I remember some of the ads very vaguely, but we were talking about this because we did watch this in the last year or two. I think it was right before or right after you guys reviewed the latest Godzilla movie, and we were talking about this one, and I was like, I don't know if I saw it. And so we watched it in the background, and I don't remember it being the caliber that it was on this watch.
That's a good one.
That's a good.
It's being
okay.
very kind. So I don't think I saw it when it first came out. I don't think I saw it until the last couple of years for the first
Okay.
time.
All right.
And that's fine with me.
Okay, so Eric, you and I, like I said, you and I talked about before we recorded. I don't want to go scene by scene, but you don't like this movie. Why? What's going on? Is it how Godzilla's created? Let's start with that kind of stuff first. Like, do you not like how Godzilla was created in this movie?
When we will break it down a bit more, but
Right.
for the most part, it isn't so much the characters or the overall plot. If you break it down into its bits, it's more just the horrible continuity and decisions that are being made in this movie. The only other, I mean, like this and like what was the other one? Like Cloverfield, the horrible decisions everyone makes in some of these movies, it takes me out of the movie. It really does. And it just, I need to understand why. And it was pointed out in this movie, and I agree with it completely by the mayor, that the military did way more damage to the city of New York than Godzilla could ever even hope to do. They did, Godzilla was in billions. They were in like quadrillion, trillions, just an actual Google. That's how much damage they did.
What was Godzilla's motive? Was Godzilla's motive simply just to reproduce asexually, right? We all get
Of
educated on
course.
that, what that meant back in the day. Was that the whole plot of Godzilla? Was just go to an island and make a nest?
I think so. I mean, because they specifically said, it's he's going to an island, and then proceeded to lay lots and lots of eggs over a 2-day period while also rampaging through the city.
But didn't he also hop other islands to get to Manhattan?
Yes, because he was also on Jamaica and somewhere else on his trek to.
You would think that he would stay on
Manhattan.
Jamaica, right? You would
Yeah,
think so?
it's probably a pretty good place. It's nice and warm. Maybe it's
a lot
not
of
big
people-
enough. I don't know.
Well, they were in French Polynesia,
Uh-huh.
right? The South
Yes.
Pacific. And so for some reason, being so close, maybe that's kind of a little Easter egg or a nod to the, I guess, I don't know, some Japan thing, the old original. But anyway, for them to have Godzilla migrate, I guess, that far to New York City, really, why not LA?
Yeah, do you think he went all the way down around the bottom of Chile? Like
Yeah.
through the Straits of Magellan over by what is that? Is it Antarctica is at the bottom?
He cut through the canal.
Yeah, that was my other. Was like, did he go through the Panama Canal
He paid.
to get to Jamaica and then cruised all the way up to New York City? Like, that is a long way to go just to lay some eggs.
Isn't it also changing a body of water in a way with like temperature and stuff too, where we're like just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like in
You're
Jaws
going
4?
from like tropical down to frigid and then up through the South
Atlantic Ocean.
Atlantic into
Yeah.
the Atlantic into the North Atlantic where New York is, which is not the warmest.
Okay. So we all know, calling it out here, we all know that the original Godzilla was created by Japan as a metaphor for, nuclear war. Why are we making Godzilla in 98? What is its metaphor? I have jokes that are not appropriate.
I think I think it could be all right, but I think this was just kind of just capitalizing on the good old-fashioned Hollywood monster movie and stealing other other people's IPs as they love to do. Because it wasn't like what other monster movies are coming out at this time?
In 98, nothing. This was all like
Well, there's like
post-Scream era.
Aliens, right? So when did Independence Day come out?
And
That was
Independence Day was
2
90
years before.
Yeah. And the Alien Resurrection was 97.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
right now, this,
Jurassic Park had come out in 93.
and then 97 was Lost World, the sequel.
And then what did I read? Oh, hold on. What was the gorilla movie?
Congo?
No.
Congo.
King Kong?
Mighty
Mighty
Joe
Joe.
Young came out in
Oh.
1998 as well, because from what I've read, they attribute this movie to being the downfall of the giant monster movie
For a while.
for a while.
All right.
But that one actually did even worse than Godzilla.
It
Well,
would.
It also had the kind of unique twist of doing dinosaurs too, which when did the Lost World come out here? Let me take a look. here.
97.
Yeah, so
But these aren't dinosaurs. These are radioactive or radioactively
radioactive
changed
iguanas,
iguanas.
Is that actually, that's not what they say in the movie, right?
That's what's implied at
that's
the beginning. Yeah,
exactly
that's
what it is.
exactly it.
They just have an iguana looking up at a bright light. So that's you guys saying, okay, that is, okay.
That's the movie
So-
saying because
That's the
Dr.
movie
Nick
saying it.
Tatopoulos is a nuclear scientist. He's not a
studies-
biologist. He's not any sort of, like he is a nuclear scientist.
So why would, yeah, okay. But he's studying Earth.
the effects of radiation on wildlife.
Right.
would be internormal. So we've all seen the original Godzilla costume, if you will. So Sarah, since you're not going into this with nostalgia or much of a fan, is this the bastardized version of Godzilla? I don't think this design is really that bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a neat idea.
It's very dinosaur-like, especially when you get the baby and they're basically velociraptors running around New York City. When they hatched, it was like, oh, I've seen this before. It was called Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg should be suing. This was theft.
Yes.
But I mean, like, the reason why that
Hey, Tremors 2 came out in '96.
nope, nobody but you and me saw Tremors 2. Just so you know.
I think a lot of people saw Tremors 2.
Nobody did. Me and you were the only idiots in the theater going, ooh.
Classic.
Yeah, we think it is. So I don't think the design is that bad. I am so used to the standard Godzilla standing on 2 feet thing. They tried to screw it up with Shin Godzilla. Remember that one a few years ago, Eric, where it was like this larva. Godzilla was a larva.
Yeah.
So I mean, like they kind of screwed the designs. They made it more dinosaur-like. Yes, I'm sure the creators of the movie were like, "Hey, that Jurassic Park movie is successful. Let's make it look like a T-Rex." Sure, I get it, but I like the design. I mean, it's cool. Godzilla's missing a lot of things, like his atomic breath. I don't know why he doesn't have an atomic breath.
I was very confused. I asked Eric, is he a fire-breathing reptile? Because he did it twice in this movie, and I did not realize that Godzilla was supposed to breathe fire. Is that true?
It's not really like fire.
It's atomic breath. What it is traditionally is that he would open his mouth, he would do the Godzilla scream, like the Godzilla roar, and a blue beam would come out. It kind of looks like lightning in a way, but it's like a long blue beam, and that was his atomic breath.
Yeah.
And like his fins on his back, or like his spikes would glow blue too. That's really how he would.
Cool.
Yeah. So for this to have him just do his yell and cars blow up, sure.
Yeah, but his atomic breath or blaster, it would be like a mini nuke, right? I mean, it was a hell
That
of
was
a
the whole
punch.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole point. Was that?
Whereas
Okay,
this
so
guy
we
is
talked.
just lighting a fart, basically.
So we talked about what it looks like. We talked about atomic breath. We talked about it makes no sense where it comes from and why it goes to New York, different bodies of water. And we don't like anything right now. So is there anything to like? I mean, like, is Matthew Broderick toxic? Is that blonde girl, Sarah, you made a comment that blonde girl, you were happy that she wasn't in the cartoon hardly. I mean, like, is she that bad?
I don't know. She was just there. She was a foil, you know. I didn't feel strongly towards her or against her.
Cover the motive.
What's the motive? I guess it didn't.
To get back with Matthew Broderick?
That was it. That was the motive.
/ be on TV?
Yeah, like her whole point is just as lost as you are. She could have been out of this movie completely, and
it would have been the same movie.
The same movie.
Yeah, she did nothing.
She was more of a villain than anything. So they were together 4 years, right? College sweethearts.
4 years in college.
Why did she leave him?
Do we know why?
To pursue her career.
Yeah, she left him because she's like, well, I just wanted to move to New York. She said, when I left to go to New York, I was sure I was going to make it. I knew I was going to make it. And she became a secretary for 8 years?
So are you saying that this movie is saying that women should not pursue careers?
No, I'm saying that this woman is a giant B word because she failed at her job and she's like, oh, well, oh, look, the person who I was invested for 4 years is on TV. He's pretty cool now. I guess I'll go back to him and my safety net, and I can forget about this job that I failed at in New York.
Not even that, but I'm going to use him because he's in the thick of things. I'm going to use him to get a job.
That's right.
That's a valid point. I'm surprised you guys have not
from him.
You guys have not said that she looks like Sarah Jessica Parker,
who was offered the role.
Wasn't she dating or married to him at this point?
She married him after they started dating after this movie. But yeah, she was offered the role.
Okay. Okay. So wait a minute. So she stole from. What did she steal? She stole
The
She
tape.
stole the tape.
the tapes. The tapes. Yeah, the
Mhm.
tapes. Okay.
And
What
his
about
innocence.
Animal? Everybody likes Animal. I like Animal. Right? Animal. Hank Azaria.
Oh yeah.
Right.
In this area.
He's funny. You know, he's trying to get the image of Godzilla coming down the street. He calms down like I would do. He's like jamming it in, trying to figure it out. Takes her leg, pushes it in with his finger. He gets it. You know, separation with the feet. Come on, it's great, right? Animal's fun. Do we love Animal?
I'm trying to record a Godzilla over here.
Yeah, it's great, right? It's New York.
I got it right.
Welcome to New York.
Eric got it. Jordan needs some work.
Oh yeah, I can't do that. Can I tell you one thing? Just off subject for a second. Jason Takes Manhattan. It's
Yep.
one of the worst Friday the 13th movies of all time. And there's a scene where they run into a New York diner and they're like, help me, a guy with a hockey mask is trying to kill us. Then the woman's like, welcome to New York. And why she like smokes a cigarette and eats a pizza. It's like, okay. So I was missing that for this movie because this movie is so New York. Another thing, and I don't know if I'm going too philosophical, if that's the word. This movie comes out a few years before 9/11. Do we feel awkward? Do we not pay attention or care? Do we wish that he tore down the trade towers?
We talked about that because they do make a reference to the attack from the 90s in this
Yeah.
movie.
And the 94 bombing.
Yeah. And then it was like, what, 3 years later was the terrorist attacks that brought them down.
Right.
So it was just interesting to hear it. It's like watching an episode of Friends and, you know, you get the pullback of the whole city and the towers are always there.
So then would we say that the filmmakers are actually, since Simpsons voice actors are in this movie, we all know the Simpsons are time travelers. Are we saying that this movie, they already knew 9/11 was going to happen? So this movie is our metaphor for 9/11?
Of course, yeah. That's
Did you like that?
Yeah, I like where that came from. That was fantastic, Jordan. I don't think we
Out of my rear end.
probably wrap it up right here, actually.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
I you know what, guys, I'm going to agree with you. I don't like anybody hardly in this movie. Animal is just fun. And when I say Animal, it's just the camera guy. He's fun. Matthew Broderick, he's not a hero. And I'm not looking for, you know, like a Schwarzenegger or a Stallone type hero, right? He's very Nick Cagey, like in The Rock.
Oh, he's
Like,
Jeff
you know, like, what am I
Goldblum
doing?
in
Yeah.
Independence Day right now, where, you know, a cold. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's what the dinosaur's doing. He's coming here. Of course. He's pregnant.
Right.
He's eating the fish. And it's just like, okay, so you're the only person who figured this out. You're the only person, like, you told me that, yeah, like a reptile expert couldn't have figured this out. Like, just the way the whole thing progressed, the way that the military just came in, it was able to just kind of like, I don't know, just let the city officials kind of be there. Let the, you know, there's the clerk right there too, in the room. Hey, you know, Mayor, what should we do next? Type of thing. It was really, they just seemed clueless because they're just saying fire at everything. Lock on
Now,
fire. Oh yeah, and then the tracing, where they couldn't find the dinosaur. They couldn't find Godzilla.
Nice.
Anyway, see, I slipped a little bit. They couldn't find Godzilla in the streets, right? Or at least they were tracking it with like a satellite, and they could have a tracker to watch it navigate through the streets, but then they would just lose it. I just don't understand. Like, can you just see on your tracing map right there, like where the blip vanished, and then like check that spot?
It may be over this area. I have a question too with that, and I'm going to be completely out of my butt, and I'm sorry, but isn't it not a law or nothing like that? But isn't it like the military is not used on our American soil, right? Like this would not be the military. This would be because the military wasn't involved when 9/11 happened.
You can involve the military in cases of like, you know, hurricane cleanup, hurricane tornado support. So they could call in the military.
But they wouldn't be using them like this, though, right?
National Guard.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. National Guard.
Yeah, they would. the military would straight up be using Black Hawk
I would
helicopters.
say they're using those they're using big old big equipment for this, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm
F-18s.
just like, is that a thing? Also, where did they get all this fish? Okay, so Godzilla goes to Manhattan, destroys a little block of it, if you will. We get some comedic bits, and then they're like, "Hey, we know he eats fish," because I think Matthew Broderick saw a fish flop around at one
There
point
was
in the
fish
subway.
in the subway. Of
There's
course.
fish in this. Yes. So
Sorry, it's my
they
Matthew
get
Broderick.
dump truck, like what, like 20 or more dump trucks full of
Mhm.
fish.
Yeah.
Where do they? I don't know. And that's them going to lure it out. And I love my favorite part of the movie. Literally, my favorite part is when Matthew Broderick is like, "Hey, he needs to smell it. Let's open up all the manholes." Yeah, no, I that was just like, good job, bud. Good job. Good job figuring that one out.
This guy must be a scientist.
Right. How about we bring in the professional, the French guy, the most Frenchiest French who was ever Frenched?
He wasn't a professional. I guess.
No, it's from another
No,
movie.
he's in the movie.
Oh, that's right. The professional.
Leon the Professional.
Leon the
yeah.
Professional. You're right. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, Sarah, that was my point. Like this guy and his team are the Frenchiest Frenchmen that's ever Frenched.
They're just making sure that their French radiation testing doesn't get released because that's why Godzilla was Godzilla.
Right, but will the movie make more? But see, that's the thing, though, was it
Mon
French
Dieu.
people that did, or was
Yeah,
it
'cause
or
it
was it
was,
Americans that did it? Because why won't
No,
guys attack France?
It was French
Polynesia.
radiation testing.
Okay, so like I also love like, oh good, I thought you said this was French roast. Me, it's like, come on, like
Ha
again,
ha.
oh,
Croissant baguette.
all of them talked like the chef from Little Mermaid, right? It's like, I just-
I might have started singing that song during this movie.
right? I just like so French. It's crazy. That was a fun part, right? Also, have you two ever been to Manhattan?
Yes.
I have not. No.
Okay,
have.
I have. Eric, I don't like to travel. I've been to Manhattan. My little over the shoulder fun, my little tip of the cap, if you will. I was in Manhattan April of 2001. So like a few months away, right? Nobody knew. And it was 2001, so I cared more about Times Square and MTV with TRL. These tall buildings, screw that. I don't care about those buildings. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've been in New York City subways.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in it. Sarah, you've been in it. There's
I
no
have.
way this big, huge iguana
No.
is somehow tunneling through
No.
New York without anybody noticing.
No. I think it was so ridiculous.
Half the city is underground. Futurama
Yeah.
has proven that. It's
That's the other part too. Is I don't believe the evacuation.
Right.
Was there an evacuation?
Quote
Technically,
unquote.
because we saw people on the Manhattan
Yeah, the
Bridge.
refugees were trying to get back into their.
Oh my gosh. That made me so angry at the end of the movie when they're like, the refugees are just trying to go home. I'm like, excuse me? You're seriously calling these New Yorkers refugees? And then at the end of the movie when they're driving the taxi through the empty streets of Manhattan, you're telling me there are no cars. Everybody moved their cars out of the way so that this one taxi and Godzilla could run down the streets so they could get to the Brooklyn Bridge. I do not believe that in a minute.
No, I just that was another part that kind of made me roll my eyes just because I have been in New York and it's like, yeah, no, that there's no way because it was tunneling and it goes to Madison Square Garden. Again, I've been to the Madison Square Garden. Sarah, have you been to the garden?
I have.
The place looks big, but it's big,
It's not
right?
that big.
But it's really not that big. It's
Right.
big, but
Mhm.
not that big. How did this big thing destroy the inside of the garden without anybody saying to the cop, hey, we hear a noise?
For 2
Over-
days. It was in
over
there for
there.
2 days, laying
Right.
eggs, very strategically in all of the balcony seats.
Right.
Very, very organized.
Right. And
Wizard here.
I mean, chickens when they lay eggs go, "Bark!" Is this thing not doing that? Is this thing not going, "Roar!" Like, is nobody hearing this?
Yeah.
Is it?
Do you think he had to how do you think it's happening? Do you think he had to cleverly squat, or is it is he throwing them
I don't
up
think it's-
maybe?
I
Do
don't
you
think
think
it's squatting.
he like carefully moved them into position with his? I mean, he didn't really have like T-Rex arms. They're kind of longer, but just like
Right.
Yeah.
He had to have, because I'm just sitting here looking at this again, not from 1998 point of view, but my age now. And it's like, wait a minute. I've been in the garden. It's big. It's not that big. It can't squat because it's going to go through the roof, literally,
Mhm.
of the garden. So it's like, how's it doing this? Is it not making noises? Like, what I'm trying to get at is that to the filmmakers, if you're going to go ridiculous and literally jump the shark, where Godzilla reproduces asexually and is going to give birth to all these eggs, then okay, then you got to make it realistic. But then I guess I'm asking too much for a Roald Emmerich film, whatever his name is. Guy can't direct anything.
he directed Independence Day.
Welcome
Bad.
to Earth.
Directed 2012.
Bad.
He did a lot of like
Hold on,
The-
hold on.
apocalyptic-y
The
sort of
day
movies.
after
The
tomorrow.
Day After
fell.
Tomorrow.
That's
Gee,
bad.
That's a bad one. That was the one where the wolves came to attack Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
I think
Yes,
so. Yeah.
And then
I was wishing.
2012 was the one where John Cusack outruns like tornadoes
The
and
cold.
earthquakes
Yes.
and
In LA.
tidal waves in
Oh,
in
they
a
have to
car.
burn the books in the New York Public Library.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it's bad movies. Okay, so we get to
He knows
the
how to
climb.
direct them.
We get to the climax of the movie, and this is where, okay, so Godzilla jumps into the New York harbor, and they send submarines at him, and they just start shooting missiles at him, and he does the Godzilla growl, and nobody knows what happens. They think he's dead. So mission accomplished. Yay, but movie guys rules, no body, no death. There's no Godzilla body, so there's no death, right? So now the next like 40 minutes, I believe, of the movie
Yes.
is he really, really thinks that Godzilla's laid eggs. Help me. How did they figure out to go to the garden? Because there was tunnels that Godzilla made lead to the garden?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The movie didn't really explain that.
I
How
think
did he know?
I think they went down into the tunnels and then just kind of followed a line of destruction and ended up at the gardens. And then Matthew Broderick was like, "Oh, there's 3 eggs." And then they shine their flashlights around. They're like, "Oh, there's like 20 eggs." And then somebody actually turns the lights on at Madison Square Garden. So like, "Oh crap. There's like hundreds of them."
Right. So now we get hundreds of eggs and they start to hatch, and we have French guys that are going to be, food.
Jean-Pierre and Jean-Philippe.
Again, the Frenchiest French guys I've ever
That
met.
was so French.
I also found it kind of funny is because like the eggs are hatching and these velociraptors, which honestly that's what they were going for,
Mm-hmm.
was doing the sniff, and somebody had to call it out and be like, they think we're the fish. Matthew Broderick said that.
Oh my God.
It was like, they think we're fish. And it's like, all right. So now we get Jurassic Park, right? This is theft. This is straight up. They are being chased by velociraptors. I didn't care in 98 because I guess being 11 years old and like, I don't know, maybe 6 months of marketing, maybe a year, right? But like just being pumped with Godzilla, like I was excited just to be there to see this, right? But now in 23, it's like, God, this is the worst part of the movie. This whole Madison Square Garden thing is really bad.
It goes on for a really long time.
It goes on for a long time, and I love the like internet's cool talk where the girlfriend's like, we got to connect to the web or something like that, she says, and I was like,
Mhm.
To the internet.
we got to connect to the internet.
Oh no, to a internet or something like
To
that.
a internet. Boomer.
Hold on, I'm looking up the visual effects team, which is called Centropolis Entertainment. It's a German-American film production company, and
Oh, they're the Germans in this.
they did the visual effects for this movie, for Godzilla, also for Independence Day. They've done a lot of the visual effects for kind of the time that we're familiar with. So I was trying to see if maybe they had done like Jurassic Park and they were kind of the same things. But no, they are basically kind of like the Sci-Fi Channel of the movies. Eight-Legged
they're like,
Freaks. 10,000
Well,
BC.
I think
Nice.
that really one of the bad things about one of the many bad things about this movie, it's 5 years after Jurassic Park, but the dinosaurs, the Velociraptor chase scenes, all of that in Jurassic Park were way better than all of the dinosaur baby Godzillas in this movie, which were so heavily CGI'd or completely CGI'd that they just look terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, to kind of hit it on the head here, it's just because of who's in the chair, like meaning who's the camera operator, who's the director. I mean, I've said it before recently in this podcast, Sarah, that 1991 Terminator 2 Judgment Day still holds up today. Look who made it. Look who was a part of that. This is what Jurassic Park would have been if it was in lesser hands.
Sure.
So, I mean, like, you get this kind of a movie. I want to talk about nostalgia extravaganza a little bit before we close it out, before we get our popcorn ratings, but I don't think this movie is that bad. So I guess, how about this? Let's get into our popcorn ratings, I guess. I'm sorry.
There you
Let's
go.
get into it. I'll start off first. The movie, I don't think is that bad. Is the movie a medium? No. Is the movie a no bag? No. The movie's a small. I come back to this probably every 5 years, if that. It's been a long time since I've seen it. And when I watched it to prepare for this the first time, it was just a smile on my face. It was just all those happy feelings of 11-year-old Jordan. And I was like, okay, let's skim and watch this and see. Okay, So it is a small for me. It's not great, but I think this is a good way to end the nostalgia extravaganza series, because this is it for us, right? Like, this is the big one, if you will, back in the late 90s. So, Eric, what is your popcorn rating for Godzilla 98?
Again, I can see why this is fun, and I can understand the hype for it. I remember the marketing for this, the soundtrack we talked about was huge. All of the clothes, I'm sure, were a big thing. Toys, TV shows, all the things that associated around this was good. But I honestly do feel that if monster movies are your thing, and compared to what has already been released, you could easily find a better movie. This just isn't it. Matthew Broderick doesn't do it for me. Maria whatever.
Doesn't
Polito,
act anymore. Don't worry
Patillo.
about it.
She was in Bye Bye Love. You remember that Rob Reiner movie? It was a fantastic. Anyway, she was god awful. I do appreciate all the Simpsons characters in this movie. That's always fun. But I found myself just like I don't know, scoffing at a lot of the movie. It feels like if they made Fast 8 in 1998.
Oh, good
It was
God.
just because I'm all for an adventure, but there was a few times that really just kind of I don't know why they stick out on my head more than others. The second time where they were putting all the fish in Madison's or in Central Park, and they wanted to lure Godzilla out in the open to blast him, and then he got too smart or for whatever, or sensed it and then ran away. And then suddenly, I think there was about 22 helicopters that just came through, and they were all flying through the cityscape. And again, they're blowing up the buildings.
The Chrysler Building.
Yeah, they're just blowing up everything. I really do. It's just like they're helicopters. The ones that were being chased by Godzilla and got attacked, blown up, or something like that. It's like, oh, we lost them. It's like, you're a helicopter. Go up. Go up. Why are you going, bobbing and weaving still? Go up. It just
Yeah.
seemed like, simple solutions to a lot of problems that shouldn't have been there in the first place. And it just, I don't know, it just seemed dumb. I guess that's kind of what it is. I'm going to give this probably a no bag on this one. I don't recommend anyone watch this movie.
Wow.
Again, I like monster movies, and this was silly fun. This movie is perfect for to be a Mystery Science Theater movie.
Okay. All right,
I
Sarah.
think, yeah. Also, the runtime sucks.
What's your
Yeah.
popcorn rating for Godzilla 98?
Wow. I agree with a lot of what Eric said. It's too long. Like I said, we had to split it into two parts because we just could not get through it. It was there. It was a monster movie. I'm probably never gonna watch it again. I'm just gonna give it a small bag. It it was not a good movie, but I didn't
Fair
hate
enough.
it so I didn't hate it so much that I'm not gonna give it anything.
I could see there being like parties where you know maybe like a branching off of Mystery Science Theater where as a cult following they watch it, but I don't think people are watching it to appreciate it. They're watching it to because they
You're
know
watching it to
it's
make fun of it.
yeah, to dog on it because they know it's a silly movie and they're just having silly fun with it. And I think that's fine. I'm not trying to gatekeep and say you can't do that. That's wonderful. I just found this movie to be kind of dumb, and if I you know I can have more fun with other movies. Watching
So,
other
Eric,
movies.
the Japanese agree with you because they made a movie called Godzilla 2000, and then the sequel was called Godzilla Final Wars that came out in the early 2000s, where OG Godzilla, right, the standard Godzilla that we all know, fought every single monster that's a part of Godzilla's oeuvre, and they called this the Millennial Godzilla in the movie, and he was defeated in 10 seconds. Literally.
Ooh.
So the Japanese hate this Godzilla too. This kind of wraps it up for our nostalgia extravaganza. I will say something about this for me personally is that I do the schedule. So like I try to think of ideas about what we're going to do for our next retrospective and stuff. And I take time, you know, take a few months just here and there, come back to it. What do we want to do? And this was an idea that came to me a year ago, right? In the middle of the year of love. And we agreed to everything. We're doing everything. And now it's now we're the end. Like it's my point is that this is fun, but man, it goes by too fast because it does not feel that long ago that we started with Brave Little Toaster. That was my whole point. Like it does not feel that long ago. We started Brave Little Toaster in December. And here we are ending it.
Did
Eric,
Godzilla
you're
want revenge or was it
what?
just trying to birth? Like it was I'm
Yeah,
confused. If it was
I
going
said a very nice thing, and he's out of that.
if it was going to go reproduce, why kill all the boats?
Because it was in his way.
I enjoyed doing this series as well, Jordan. And of course, time flies when you're having fun, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Right. So the next time you're going to hear all three of us together will be our retrospective wrap up, where we get to rank the worst to best in this series. So I'm kind of interested. I think we all kind of know what we're going for. I'm going to spoil. Probably Brave Little Toaster is the worst. We don't know. But
Not after seeing this movie.
For you.
I mean, I don't know, guys. We've dogged on that one. Listen to that review again.
I remember it, but I think there's also the bit of nostalgia with that. Maybe the childhood nostalgia is
Better
putting
with
heavy on my bias there, but also it's not 2.5 hours.
a valid point. But like always, everybody, thank you so much for downloading this most recent episode. You can check us out on wherever you get your podcast from. Sarah, you're in charge of the gram. What's going on with that? Where can they find us?
They can find us at Movie Guys Pod. Instagram gets updated at least once a week now. There's some behind the scenes stuff, linking to other accounts with things that we find interesting. And just keep an eye out. You're going to see a pretty sweet shirt from Jordan here soon. And just follow us and do all the things.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Eric and Sarah, for joining me. And we'll be back next Thursday, like always, with another awesome episode. Have a good night.
You did
Was I
not edit.
supposed to edit?
Oh, no.
Was I supposed to edit something?
Yes, you clap in the middle of it.
What was I supposed to edit? Did something happen?
Riley came in during the middle of our take.
Oh, did
Andy,
she really?
Andy completely reset my mind. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as that happened, because you did the headphone drop,
Yeah.
and you looked over, and it's usually it was like an alert kind of move,
Right.
and so I saw it and it completely threw me, but I was supposed to, you gave me the keep going sign. I was like, I forgot. I completely forgot. And so I was stalling a bit, just trying to rewind, but I'm also like looking at you to making sure that everything's okay as you're smiling and nodding.
This new schedule thing, then I got to get used to it, or got to make notes in the phone, because like I don't typically, like this would be a Wednesday, right? We would record the episode, Eric would give it to me, and it would be fresh in my mind, so we can do a description or do edits, whatever I got to do, and then get it ready for Thursday the next day. But now we're releasing 3 weeks in advance, and so I'm like, oh, I'll edit this episode in 2 weeks, bam, 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 and I forget, so I got to make notes.
I did the same thing. I pre-schedule all of the next 3 or 4 Instagram posts for weeks. And I got up this morning and I'm flipping through Instagram. I was like, shit, I forgot to write the whole description for Cobweb this morning. So it just said Cobweb 2023. I'm like, whoops, we're just going to
Whoopsie doopsies.
Put something in there, because half the time I'm listening to the podcast, listening to you guys record, so I have a general idea of what you're talking about.
Right.
And that one, I think, I don't know if I had book club. There was maybe some reason I didn't hear it, so
Right.
I just went with it and added some hashtags, and yeah, went with it.
Hey, you know what? Thank God our sponsors aren't pissed.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah. So this sponsor, Busch Light.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You guys want to talk Godzilla?
Let's do it.